So I want to make a notice that I have received return of service from the town clerk so that the meeting was properly posted. I want to make you aware of where the emergency exits are. The closest emergency exit to you may not be the exit or the entrance through which you entered the meeting, so just make sure you know how to get out in case of emergency. I also want to test the sound system. Can everybody hear me okay? Everybody good? Good. We also, for the first time, I believe, have sign language at the front, so I don't know your name, but I welcome you to the town meeting. So in the front of the room here, as I said, Jim Fitzgerald, the moderator. I have Grayson Pelletier next to me, who's running the clock. Bob Galvin, Town Council. The Town Administrator, the Board of Selectmen, Treasurer Collector's Office, and the accountant. And down in front is the Advisory Board. So these are all the people that you'll be asking questions of or that will be giving you answers during the course of the meeting. At this point in time, I'd like to call the Police and Fire Color Guard to present the colors. Thank you. I now call on Karen Paulette, our Veterans Officer, to give the Pledge of Allegiance. I apologize. Karen is the Director of Veteran Services for the town of Marshfield. Karen's military career began during her high school years when she enlisted in the Mass Army National Guard 1050th Transportation Company in 1989. In March of 1998, she went into active duty with the National Guard for 14 years. During that time, she served in several positions, acquiring 4 MOS skills. She was a leader in the Adjunct General's Honor Guard for 6 years, performing duty in funeral honors and select ceremonies such as the governor's inaugurations. At the state level, she trained in OSHA, Equal Opportunity, and as an SARC, Sexual Assault Reaction Coordinator. In 2005, she requested transfer to the 3rd Battalion 126 Aviation for a 15-month deployment to Kuwait and Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. Upon return, she was selected into the Battalion Senior Aviators Operations NCO position and promoted to E8 Master Sergeant. Karen remained in that position until she retired with 21 and a half years of service. After service, Karen volunteered with many organizations and was awarded the state's Deborah Sampson Award in 2014. She has a bachelor's degree in business administration and an associate's degree in criminal justice. She is married to her husband, Jim, who currently is deployed to Iraq. They have 2 children. Karen was hired as Marshfield's Veteran Service Agent, Assistant VSO in 2013, and was promoted to Director in 2020, where she still proudly serves today. Thank you, Karen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this point in time, we're going to be joined by some of Marshfield's finest choral members to sing the national anthem. We have Emily Tobin, soprano, from the class of 24, Maeve McHugh, alto, class of 2025, Andrew Hickey, tenor, from the class of 2025, and Elijah Kennedy, bass, class of 2023.
the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Okay. This is just a couple of procedural things. In first place, please silence your phones so we don't get interrupted during the course of the meeting. How many people this is their first time at town meeting? Any newcomers? Welcome. Nice to have you here. We have, I don't know if I have the list of, do we have a list of non-registered voters? Maurice? Oh, I don't know that I printed that. We have some non-registered voters that are sitting in the audience. And as our tradition, we take a vote to allow them to sit with their respective boards. Actually, that just could be easier. All of those in the audience who are non-resident, non-voters, town officials who want to sit with their respective boards, please stand. Is there anybody opposed to allowing them to sit with their boards? You're welcome to join the boards. Thank you very much. We do have a list of tellers. So the tellers are the folks that, in the event of a standing vote, these are the people that will be counting your vote. I will note that the visiting section is here to the back left, so if you are a non-voter, non-resident, that's where you need to be sitting. Other than that, please join us on the floor. So these are the section counters. Thanks, Ned. I'm going to read the section. If you can just stand so that people know who you are, so when you start counting. Section A, Anne Marie Sinnott. Section B, Barbara Carney. Pardon? Okay. Section C, Anne Marie Sacchetti. Section D, Cindy Castro. Section E, Andrew Wenig. And the stage and the advisory board will be counted by the town clerk. I'm going to forego reading the moderator's rules. They're in the front of your warrants. I will make note that you should highlight rules 9, 7, 11, and 14. We do have a rule of moving the question, which if somebody believes debate has continued long enough, they can put their hand up, even if there are people waiting at the microphones, and say, move the question. And it is, if I think there's been enough debate going on, I could accept that motion to move the question. If I feel there's still debate to be had, I can refuse to accept that decision. Once the move the question has been put forward, there'll be no longer any debate. We'll go to a vote. It's a majority vote. If town meeting votes to move the question, then that ends discussion and we go to a vote on the article. So I'd like to ask for a vote to accept the rules. All those in favor, raise their hand. All opposed? Thank you. I declare that that passes by a majority. We're going to do this a little differently than we have in the past. This is a fairly small warrant with most of it being sort of housekeeping articles as opposed to heavy debate articles. So we have created a consent agenda in 3 parts. The first part is we have 2 articles that are going to be passed over. So I'm going to first call a consent agenda to pass over those 2 articles. Then I have a second part which lists a number of articles that are all majority vote articles, simple articles. And I'm going to propose that, and those are articles 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. I'm going to suggest that we take those as a lump and vote those as a set. If somebody has an issue with and they want to discuss one of those articles, then we can pull that out of the consent agenda. We can have that up for discussion. But other than that, I think we can safely forego those articles. And then the third motion is votes that require a 2/3 majority, a supermajority. And there's 2 of those articles. And again, I'm going to propose that those articles go as a consent agenda and just get lumped together and we vote and get those out of the way, which will leave us 3 articles. Article 1, which is a budget article paying for last year's bills, a traditional article here. Article 8, which is essentially a budget article like the capital budget article. And Article 12, which is an article on flood zone maps from the planning board. So that being said, again, I'm going to read these articles. If you're okay going forward with them as a consent agenda, we'll just go to that vote. We'll be done with those articles and we'll go on to the ones that need a little bit more discussion. So in the first one, Articles 2, which is an article on funding union contracts which have not been finalized yet, and Article 13, which was passed over by, withdrawn from by the participant. So those 2 are being withdrawn. So our first Part 1 article, the motion is, I move that the town vote to take out of order Articles 2 and 13 and that each of such articles be indefinitely postponed. All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed? I declare that that passes. So Part 2. So the motion for Part 2 is, and this is the motion for articles that would have required a majority vote. So we need a majority vote here to forego these questions. I move that the town vote to take out of order Articles 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9, that they may be passed by consent in accordance with the motion shown on the 2023 Marshfield Special Town Meeting consent agenda as made available to town meeting attendees. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed? I declare that that passes by a majority. And Part 3, and this includes an open space article and the article on Article 11, which is the work going in Brant Rock. And I think both of these are pretty safely going ahead without having to need a whole lot of discussion. I move that the town vote to take out of order Articles 10 and 11, that they may be passed by consent in accordance with the motion shown on the 2023 Marshfield Special Town Meeting consent agenda as made available to the town meeting attendees. And again, I'll remind you that this is a 2/3 vote. All those in favor of Part 3, please raise your hand. All those opposed? I declare that that passes by a 2/3 vote. When was the last time we had a special town meeting where there were basically 3 articles we're talking about? So we're going to take Article 1, which, because it's a budget article, a traditional budget article for what we do. And Let me get my motions in front of me here. Article 1, the Select Board moves that the town vote to appropriate the sum of $1,739.35 to pay unpaid bills from the prior fiscal year, and to meet such appropriation, transfer said sum in the amount set forth in the chart printed under Article 1 of the special town meeting warrant from the corresponding FY 2024 budget for the departments. So that's the article. Mr. Marisco?
Mr. Moderator, Michael Moresco, 201 Arlington Street. This is a standard article. When we're going through the books, we came across invoices from as far back as 2017 that had not been paid. Any bill that comes in after June 30th of the fiscal year, this is the only way that they can get paid. Town meeting has to approve it, and it's a 9/10 vote to approve these bills.
The advisory board recommend unanimous approval. Any comments from the board? No. So this is a 9/10 vote. For us to be able to pass this, it's almost unanimous. So I'll go to the vote, seeing no discussion. All those in favor of Article 1, please raise your hand. All those opposed? I declare that passes by 9/10. The next is Article 8. I have stacks of paper that are always in great order right before the meeting starts, and then everything goes away. No, I've got it here. Article 8, the Select Board and the Capital Budget Committee move that the town vote to transfer the sum of $2,613,145 from the Stabilization Fund to be expended on items set forth in the chart printed under Article 8 of the special town meeting warrant. Item 13 and item 14 will not be funded until the spring, so they will be removed from this discussion. It is further moved that any funding from the Stabilization Fund to an enterprise fund be repaid to the Stabilization Fund account upon certification and availability of retained earnings in the spring. So, Mr. Maresco?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Michael Moresco, 201 Arlington Street. So I just want to give a brief explanation to folks. As everyone who is a regular participant in town meeting knows that we're going through one of the largest IT software conversions, $2.2 million project to get us from the antiquated software that we have to Munis. The town's about halfway through the massive undertaking in order to close out the fiscal year and send the information to the DOR to get free cash certified. The town must be able to get the old software, SoftWrite and Zobrio, which is cash management, financial data into Munis. There was a problem with getting the system to work together, and this is not uncommon when you're doing a conversion. CLA is our consultant on the town accountant side, and Eric Kinshoff is our CPA consultant on the treasurer collector side. They are now going through manually reviewing 13,000 lines of accounting information and 1,800 accounts to verify and get those properly into, manually putting them into Munis. Once the review is complete and the data has been uploaded to Munis, the town can send the information to the DOR and get free cash certified. It's been a huge challenge for our staff to be working on the everyday business of town government and working on their piece of the conversion process and data. Sue Flynn, who is our interim town accountant, and Kathleen Maresco, an interim treasurer collector, handle the day-to-day activities. The reason that I wanted to give this explanation, because you've noticed from the article that it's not from free cash, it's from stabilization. And the reason that we're doing that is so that we can move forward with these vitally important projects that we have listed under free cash, and then when free cash gets certified, it's anticipated that we'll send the information to the DOR sometime in first or second week of December. They usually take a couple of weeks, so we hear back maybe by the end of the year on the certification, and then at the special town meeting, we put the money, the free cash, back into stabilization. And then going forward, there'll be a consultant that will work on our IT department, with our IT department and our department heads, to get the final leg of Munis, the financial side, completed sometime in June or July of 2025. Thank you.
From the advisory board, point of order? What's your
Yes.
point of order?
Point of order, Mr. Moderator. I'd like to know from town council, is this even legal to advertise the funding source the way you did in the warrant? That's part A of my point of order. And then to change the sources at the last minute.
Yes.
And that is, where does that yes come from? Town council says it's legal. Okay, part B, how much money is in the stabilization fund and can it sustain this expenditure or withdrawal?
Mr. Maresco?
Mr. Moderator, yes, I can answer that question. Right now, in the stabilization fund, we have $5,871, $5,871,670.
Good to know, And then you take out 2.8, Mr. Moderator, that leaves what, 2.9? Is that
I'm a
what it's-
cabinet maker, not a
Okay.
mathematician, so
Well,
you can do the math.
Measure twice.
Yes, about that.
Measure twice, withdraw once. Right.
Okay, advisory board, Brian Crowley, any comments? Nope, we're good. So I'm going to read this as we typically do our capital budget articles and our budget articles. I'm going to read it line by line. If somebody has a question, you can call out question, and we'll come back to visit that. Otherwise, we'll vote on the package together for the ones that are not questioned, and then we'll go back to the ones that are questioned, then vote the whole article at the end. This is going to be a 2/3 vote, just to remind everybody. So item 1, TC Town Accountant Search. Item 2, TC Professional Services. Item 3, Police Details for Fiber Optic Installation. Item 4, Police Department Certification. Question on Police Department Certification. Item 5, Ambulance Supplies. Question on ambulance supplies. Item 6, Grade Adjustment for Assistant ACO. Item 7, Vehicle Fuel Gasoline. Item 8, DPW Vehicle Maintenance. Item 9, Council on Aging Age-Friendly Programmer. Article 10, Student Bus for Library Services. Article 11, Spring Sunday Hours at the Library. Article 12, Supplement FY24 Pension. We are skipping over 13 and 14. Article 15, AP5 Upgrade Cloud Assessors. Article 16, Airport Grant Match. Article 17, Town Hall Doors and IT Functions. Article 18, Fire Headquarter Lockers Bathroom Design. Article 19, Town General Maintenance. Article 20, School General Maintenance. Article 21, Commercial Fishing Boom Pier Repair, Harbor Master. Article 22, Complete Streets, Brant Rock Esplanade Traffic and Improvement Project Phase 1. Item 23, Road Maintenance DPW. Item 24, Unpaved Road Maintenance DPW. Item 25, Ocean Street Flashing Light. Item 26, Playground Maintenance. Item 27, 2024 Chevy K2500 Utility with Plow number 124. Item 28, 2024 Chevy K2500 Utility with Plow number 185. On the last one? Okay. So we've got 4 questioned articles. I'm going to call for a vote on the articles that were not questioned. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed? I declare that those passed by 2/3. So our first question was on number 4, Police Department certifications.
Joe Pasevich, 25 Wilson. Sorry, I didn't identify myself first time around. I'd like a little clarification on that police department certification. Nobody's against, I'm all for our first responders having the best equipment and the best training. But to just throw $250,000 out there, I think we deserve a little bit of, maybe somebody to expound on that a little bit.
Mr. Maresco, I'm not sure if the chief's here. We could have the chief come down.
Thank
if
you,
he is.
Mr. Moderator. Michael Moresco, 201 Arlington Street. I do have the chief has given me a sheet. Oh, there he is right there.
Hello? Okay, we got it. Phil Tavares, Police Chief. Our budget doesn't support the unfunded mandates underneath the new police reform and also for accreditation, and it's quite costly.
May I follow up, Mr. Moderator? So is there a specific unfunded mandate or training course that's required?
Yes, there's lots of them. An example is hands-on defensive tactics. Just 8 hours of training for all the officers is approximately $30,000. That's under accreditation. Under unfunded mandates, there's lots of training that's required. One example is we have to train with our firearms twice a year now, and that's approximately $58,000, whereas we only had to do that once a year.
Okay. Thank you very much.
While he's at the microphone, we can all say happy birthday to Phil as well. So,
Thank you.
we can pass on that part. Second question was on ambulance supplies.
It's me again, Joe Pasevich, Wilson Road. Again, the same question applies. What, can we expound on that a little bit? I mean, to me, it's like we all know the ambulance services actually bring in money, and it's kind of surprising to see that they're in need.
Well, you have to buy them.
By what?
You have to buy the supplies. So
Okay, is that what it's for?
This-
Can someone tell me?
I believe this is what came up in the Springtown meeting, was it was buying the supplies for the ambulance service. Mr. Maresco, if you want to
Yes,
add on to
Mr.
that.
Moderator. Michael Moresco, 201 Arlington Street. You're 100% correct. In order for them to provide the service, make some money, bring that back to the town coffers, they have to have the medical supplies to be able to treat people. If town meeting would like, the chief supplied me with about 10 pages. I could read through all of the supplies that are covered, if folks would like that. But it is for things, tubing, needles, bandages, canisters, handheld Android scopometers, utility scissors, adjustable collars for neck injuries.
I think we get it.
Okay.
Well, the point is, we all know supplies are needed, and you got to put gas in the vehicles, and you need your Band-Aids. But it seems like, why are you coming to special town meeting?
Because if
Because-
you recall back in the fall town meeting, when it was put through as a capital article, it was deemed not a capital article, and it needed to be funded through other means. So this was the other means.
So this is the other means. Okay, so it's.
Yeah. That's where it came from.
It's not, so that's the correct answer. That's what I'm looking for. Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, for that.
You're welcome. Next question is number 16, the airport grant match.
Again, could we have a little more specificity about what that project is matching?
Mr. Maresco.
Michael Moresco, 201 Arlington Street. Yes, I can update. So we have two cost centers. One's an updated vegetation management plan that's required. The overall cost of that project's $106,500. The Mass DOT share is $85,200. The local share, which we have to pay, is $21,300 because the town owns the land that the airport's on. And then the other project is additional permitting and geotechnical work. The total cost of that project is $96,900. The FAA is contributing $87,210. Mass DOT is supplying $4,845, and the local share for us is $4,845 for a total of $26,145.
Thank you very much. The geotechnical work, was any information provided as to what that geotechnical work is for? Geotechnical work usually means exploratory work in preparation for another construction project, typically. Is there any information on that available?
Mr. Maresco?
I don't have specifics of that project. You want to know what type of project they're doing?
Like I said, geotechnical work usually is a precursor to, doing some other construction work. So I wonder if there's another construction project coming.
Mr. Moderator, we could get the answer to that question. The chair of the Airport Commission, Paul Van Korenberg, is here, and I'm sure he'd be happy to answer that question.
Hello? Thank you.
Paul Van Kowenberg, 372 Union Street. Yeah, the permitting, or the additional geotech was part of the Lupo project, which was from last fall's meeting that got approved then. So this is some additional borings that were required that were not known at that time when that article was approved. So there were some geotechnical pieces that came out after that approval that we were required to add to that project. So it's the same project from last fall with the apron revisions, the taxiways, all that was part of the variance to the original runway expansion project from 6-7 years ago.
So it's for apron, Mr. Moderator, I understand it's for aprons and paved areas,
That's what he said.
taxiways and all that kind of stuff? Okay.
Yeah, it's a little small additional piece of the project that was already approved last year.
Well, thanks for that clarification. Now I have a comment. I'm very much against this article because, this appropriation, because I just want everybody to know that every time you appropriate town money to an airport project, you're on the hook. The FAA has a stipulation that says every time they give us funds, which are then matched with local funds, we are required to keep the airport open, typically for another 20 years. The vegetation management plan that's being funded through this is a crime. It is destructive. It fences out, it takes over wildlife habitat. It destroys ecological diversity. It's an absolute scar, the worst ecological disaster ever in the history of the town of Marshfield. We should be resisting and planning for the closure of Marshfield Airport, which principally only caters to jet traffic. And every time a jet flies in and out of Marshfield, remember, you subsidize that one jet flight to the tune of $1,000 to $2,000. So it does not serve the residents of Marshfield.
Right, thank you. Yep. Okay, well, last question was on number 28, 2024 Chevy K2500 utility with a plow, number 185.
Joe Pasevich, Wilson Road. Just a clarification, is that going to be coming out of the retained earnings, or is that coming out of
It
stabilization?
will be coming out of retained earnings once all that is certified.
Okay, but for now, it's coming out of stabilization.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we have discussed items 4, 5, 16, and 28. So we'll vote on those. Again, this is a 2/3 vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed, I declare that passes by 2/3. So we're going to vote on the whole Article 8.
Point of order. Why aren't you voting on each one of those items individually?
Because we voted for them together at the beginning if they weren't questioned.
Yeah, but these were questioned.
I just voted all 4 of those together.
Yeah, but what if people are in favor of one of those items and not in favor of another item?
I don't believe that's the case. So you're the only
Why?
one that got up and talked.
Well,
We're good. We're good. I'm all set. Thank you very much. Yes,
So that's your ruling?
that is my ruling.
Okay, thank you.
Great. All those in favor of Article 8, please raise your hand. All those opposed, I declare that Article 8 passes by 2/3. Okay, and lastly, we have Article 12. The Planning Board moves that the town vote to amend the Marshfield Town Code Division 3 zoning bylaw, Articles 305-15 floodplain zoning, section 15.02, applicably as set forth in Article 12 of the special town meeting warrants. I do have a just delivered note from the planning board that they took a vote and they voted 4-0 to approve of this. And I will turn it over to Greg Guimond, town planner, for a description.
Greg Guimond, 53 Ice House Lane. Article 12 amends Articles 305, 1502, which is our flood map. April 10th, FEMA had given us a LOMA map change. It was conducted by FEMA itself. This change results in 7 homes on Ferry Street and C Street coming into the flood zone and 29 houses coming out of the flood zone. August 9th, we had a second LOMA flood map change. This one was required for the DPW because the DPW had worked on seawall improvements down in the Brant Rock area. And FEMA made them relook at the flood map. And in this case, 5 houses in the Dyke Road area are coming out of the floodplain. And for a quick add on the CRS and the flood insurance, please remember if you have any flood insurance questions, you can speak to Andrew, the building commissioner, Nancy in the ZBA, or myself and Karen in the planning board. And with that, any questions?
Okay. The advisory board voted for unanimous support. Okay. Any questions from the floor? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. This is a 2/3 vote in support of Article 12. All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed? I declare that passes by 2/3. And miraculously, we finished town meeting in 40 minutes. That could be a new land speed record. So I thank everybody for coming this evening. Plan on doing the same thing in the fall, or in the spring rather, and have a good winter, and we'll see you come next April. I move to adjourn town meeting. All those in favor? Aye.